Welcome to the Lawson and Gift podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, share the videos, and subscribe. We're on to Week 10 Vegas spread picks.
Yeah, Giff, I think this week is going to calm down. Last week was an absolute gauntlet. Like the Baltimore Ravens beating the hell out of the New England Patriots. The Packers completely laying down to a Chargers team that is done. I don't want to hear anyone telling me this is the Chargers peaking mid-season. I love Anthony Lynn, but I don't want to hear any of that. Can we just say it was an anomaly and some teams just didn't show up? Can we just say that at a certain point?
Yeah, I think you have to. And then that Steelers game, Brissett getting knocked out, the refs helping the Steelers along the way, things that I couldn't equate for any
Well,
of
you
that.
can't equate for Jacoby Brissett getting hurt. You can't equate for the refs botching calls. There's a lot of stuff you can't equate for. That's why you need to stay consistent, subscribe, hit the like button, share the video.
Yeah, and bottom line, the money pick that you gave everybody did come through, which was Oakland. So through all the rubble.
It's sad when Oakland is like the only brick you can lay as a foundation.
And this week looks like we got maybe 2 or 3 to pick from, but yeah, you're right. That was the one lone game.
Yeah, the foundation.
To try to start something, and with that, we'll start with the Chargers -1 at Oakland.
Giff, once again, I love Oakland, and I'm a little bit concerned. It's a Thursday night game. You have to always factor that in the equation, but we're actually really, really good on Thursday night games. I think our record has to be, 6, 7-1, something along those lines. We've always hit it hard on Thursday night, even though we don't love it. Give me Oakland to win the cover. Borderline money pick. A little bit scared, though, because, Giff, it's Thursday night, and it is the Raiders. You do have Carr, and he doesn't have the most options to throw to, but I think Oakland does something the Packers weren't able to do. They're going to get with 2 tight ends, and your boy Josh Jacobs is going to ram it down their throats. Yeah. Bosa's dominant. Bosa's MVP caliber, but you want to know what? How you attack a great defensive end? You run it down his throat 35 times, and that's what the Raiders are going to do with a little bit of play action. Yeah. It's going to be enough to win. And the way to really annihilate the Raiders is go three wide receivers, push it deep, throw it 40, 45 times. But the Chargers aren't the team to do that with Phillip Rivers' weak noodle arm.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of this, too, is what are we going to get from the Chargers offense? I don't think Rivers is going to have a great game, and I don't think he continues his success. Yeah, they beat Green Bay, but as you said, Green Bay really was off that game. It didn't look right, and I don't expect much in this game from the Chargers offense. I don't think that continues, but you mentioned it. Yeah, Bosa and Ingram, they're playing at a high level right now. They're starting to catch on, but how do you combat that? You run the football. Oakland has that monster offensive line. I like them.
Josh Jacobs is fantastic again last week, and I hope everyone, when I told you guys, I think it was 5 weeks ago, if you want a good future pick, Josh Jacobs to win Rookie of the Year. Now he's moved up really, really high, but I think it's his Rookie of the Year to lose, even though they're biased towards quarterbacks.
And I can't not mention the defense for Oakland, because that has been a problem. It was even a problem in that Detroit game. Yeah. But that was because Matt Stafford can throw the football through the air. Not really had so much problems with the run game. So that's another mismatch. I think Oakland takes advantage of that because Rivers is not going to air it out like Stafford.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll jump to Kansas City -3.5 at Tennessee.
I'm banking on Pat Mahomes playing. Kansas City wins and covers. I felt like they played it safe last week with Mahomes on the bench. It was the proper play given the Vikings front seven, but the proper play this week is to go out slinging with Mahomes and make sure you get this victory, especially since the Patriots just got a loss. So maybe the Chiefs can talk themselves into getting home field advantage. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think the Chiefs take this game very seriously, win and cover.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs to win and cover as well. And really, I think the Chiefs in a game like this, because of their defense and some of their issues, I think would struggle against teams that are pass heavy. Tennessee, I don't expect much from their offense in this game. They just simply can't get out of their own way. The turnovers that Tennessee had this past week were absolutely despicable, and it wasn't even the quarterback's fault. It was A.J. Brown's fault and Deion Lewis's fault because he can't hold on to the football. But I'm not crazy about Tennessee's offense. That's why I have to go Kansas City to win.
Deion Lewis literally comes and proves us right every week. Thank you.
Yeah, he's absolutely terrible. And Kansas City, too, I think one thing that was evident in that Minnesota game, one thing we cannot take away from them is that they have a plethora of weapons offensively. That can't be denied. And with that, we'll jump to Buffalo plus 2.5 at Cleveland.
Yeah, Giff, I just like Buffalo to win and cover this game. The fundamentals push me towards Cleveland. Everything pushes me towards Cleveland, but it's what we said before the year. I know everyone said we were dumbasses because we said we wanted Greg Williams instead of Freddie Kitchens, but we were pretty negative about the hire, maybe the most negative in the media, if you even consider us media. Well, I mean, we're not on TV, so, but we've been getting tons of views, so I appreciate the fans. Freddie Kitchens lost control of this team. You got to go down to a better head coach. And I know the Bills have their problems, but I actually felt like Washington came out with a good game plan against the Bills, and the Bills responded. And I think the Bills will be able to do plenty of short little dump-offs to Devin Singletary to neutralize Myles Garrett. Like, I literally think that's going to happen a lot. Give me the Bills to win in the cover. Browns aren't disciplined enough.
I have to agree with you there, and you're right, because we can't trust Freddie Kitchens. With all the talent that they have, he can't get this right, and I think it would be very simple if they got committed to the run game, branched off of that, but are they going to do that? Cleveland hasn't shown that yet. That loss to Denver, man, that was... If it wasn't already over for Kitchens, I think that loss cements it.
Well, and someone's got to make a stand, and someone's got to get serious about this thing with the Browns. And then Odell Beckham wearing the Joker shoes.
I don't understand.
That was so cringe.
Yeah.
It was cringe. Like, am I one to care about little small details like that? No. But that was just, I don't know any other words for it except cringe. Maybe you got a few others, but...
Well, it's just, it's annoying and it's childish. I mean, he did this earlier this season too with like wearing a watch and, you know, a certain kind of visor. And it's just, come on, man. Just, you know the rules. You don't have to do this to get attention.
Yeah.
But it's like he has to do this because obviously his stats aren't going up.
Well, that's the thing, and I wonder if he gets a little bit mad when he sees the stats and he sees Jarvis Landry out eating them.
Yeah, well, and that's going to happen naturally, and but I think Freddie Kitchens, I think you're right. This has come undone.
Yeah.
And the Bills are just a more consistent team right now.
And I don't want to take anything away from what we said about Baker Mayfield. And, Giff, we were wrong about some things last week. But one thing before the season, we said that no one else said. I kept saying sophomore slump for Baker. I just feel it coming. Well, it certainly is. And I know Freddie Kitchens, he's an easy man to blame. He looks like he's a custodian. But, Giff, Baker Mayfield has been terrible this year, and I know Greg Robinson sucks at left tackle. We all know that. I could have told you that in my sleep.
Yeah.
And you were complaining about the Bitonio trade, of course. But if Baker Mayfield deserves some blame here, he's just not good enough.
He does. I think you couple that with Kitchens' play calling, and you have yourself a 2-win team at this point of the season. I think that's where it's at. And with that, we'll jump to Arizona plus 4.5 at Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa Bay wins and covers. I think this Arizona dream fades a little bit, although they've been showing signs of progress. I do like the way the secondary's improved the last 3 or 4 weeks. But this is a game I'd stay the hell away from. You're crazy if you bet this. Tampa Bay, they can be explosive, but you don't know when they're going to show up.
Yeah, and I think you stay away from this game mainly because of Tampa Bay and the turnovers. I mean, they have, like last week, they looked good, but that's against the Seattle defense that we know has issues. I got Arizona to cover, Tampa to win. I have been a little bit impressed with the offense from Arizona. Kyler Murray has made throws that I, quite frankly, didn't think he was going to be able to make. And it's been smart. It's been creative. I think that they give Tampa a run for their money this week. I think they might have a chance to win the game. And with that, we'll jump to the Giants minus 2.5 at the Jets.
Well, I'm to the point, like, who cares?
This game does not matter.
And I get worked up about, niche games on the schedule. I never turn down a chance to make a profit. But like I'm going to say about this game, please don't bet it. But I'm going Jets, surprisingly. No science here at all. Get back to me later in the week. I might change the pick. It's just such an irrelevant game to me. I guess I didn't think about it too much.
Yeah, this is only tough because you have to ask yourself who's going to be worse in this game. And
yeah.
I think it's going to be the Jets because I think everything has come unhinged for Adam Gase in this offense. Even Sam Darnold is taking flack now for some of his turnovers that he's committed, but I don't really think he's being put in a good position to win this year with Adam Gase and his erraticness. So the Giants, while it's not by much, I just think that they're going to be a little bit more disciplined in this game.
I'm going to go Giants too, and you got to look at the better coaching. Yeah. I think on surface level, Darnold's better than Daniel Jones. I think that's a fact. But you're right. This Jet situation is a dumpster fire. It's a forest fire.
And, after the Leonard Williams trade, it's just at a point now where even though I like Greg Williams and I think he can coach up that defense, we saw him get that win against Dallas because the defense showed up. But I don't think that even continues. I think that the problems are too much for the Jets. And we'll now go to Atlanta plus 12.5 at New Orleans.
Yeah, give me the points here. Atlanta covers. New Orleans wins. But this Atlanta team is really, really hard to bet on because they can't cover anyone. And Drew Brees this week, we know he's going to be slinging. Kamara doesn't play, though. I don't think Kamara plays this week. I think Atlanta's able to keep it semi-close, although I do have questions about Matt Ryan and the turnovers. He'll be back, though.
Well, I got to go New Orleans to win and cover, and even if Atlanta's offense plays semi-decent, how bad is this defense going to be under Dan Quinn?
It's bad.
Are they going to be able to stop Kamara, stop Latavius Murray, and then be able to stop Drew Brees too? I don't think they're ready for that.
12.5, 13's a lot of points, though. It's a lot of points.
And New Orleans has not messed around, though, this year. I just think they take care of business in this game. And with that, we'll go to Baltimore minus 10 at Cincinnati.
Yeah, give me Cincinnati to cover, Baltimore to win. I'm just not on this Baltimore thing being dominant. I'm just not onto it being something that the Patriots or the Chiefs need to fear when the money's on the line in December and January. I'm just not there. And this game might be a good example of it. Give me the points here. But Cincinnati's really bad, but you got to think there's some response. We did see the Chargers beat the living hell out of the Packers this week. I expect a response out of Cincinnati. They've been running it a little bit better. This stays semi-close.
I got the same thing in this game. And, we can't forget, this is a Baltimore team that struggled against Arizona earlier this year. This is a Baltimore defense that doesn't really have a pass rush. They pulled one off on New England. They played more physical. They got that done on that night, but I don't think that continues, and I don't think that they could beat New England again in the playoff game. I'll say that right now. I know that's crazy for me to say considering what we just saw, but I firmly believe that, and I firmly believe the Chiefs are still the number one threat to the Patriots. Give me Cincinnati to cover this. Finley's going to be starting instead of Dalton. That actually might be a good thing.
It might.
All we really have on Finley is the preseason film, and I thought he was a little bit better than Dalton then. We'll see how that looks. I just don't think that Baltimore is going to be blowing teams out.
And I think it can give some energy to a Cincinnati team that's been lacking it all year. And if you look at that performance against the Rams, it actually wasn't that bad a performance by Cincinnati standards. If Andy Dalton was just a wee bit better in the red zone, that's like a 4 or 5 point game. They were in the red zone a lot.
Yes. And we will now go to Carolina plus 5 at Green Bay.
Green Bay responds, right? They have to. They have to, right? Or is this the time the rails fall off? I guess I'm going the rails fall off. Give me Carolina to win in the cover. Heavy dose of McCaffrey, right? There's one thing you need to do against Carolina, and that's stop Christian McCaffrey. But that's the one thing the Packers really can't do much of. They can't stop the run. I'm not buying into their secondary being vulnerable because Phillip Rivers had a day in the sun, so to speak. but Christian McCaffrey pumping it up the middle on the Packers is going to be a serious problem for a defense that isn't physical enough for me in that front seven.
And the screenplays, too.
Yeah.
I actually think this game has a really good chance to go over because we are hearing things about Bradbury maybe being hurt for Carolina in the secondary. I do think that the Green Bay offense is going to be better in this game. But that defense has a lot of issues, and it's in the front seven. It's particularly the linebacking core.
Well, and
the Chiefs have exploited it. We saw what just happened with the Chargers. I think that they do have problems stopping the run when you run it to the outside. In the middle, too, you mentioned that they have some issues. But the way this Green Bay defense is built, I think it's set up perfectly for Carolina to take advantage of it. McCaffrey on the screenplays, too.
Yeah.
Those linebackers can't get out there.
Well, it's not the secondary is fast, but the rest of the defense isn't all that athletic. And here's the problem. Kyle Allen hasn't been bad this year. But here's one of the issues with Green Bay. In order for them to get a pass rush, they have to blitz. And credit to Mike Patton, I'm glad he's able to generate it. But you're going to get burned with the blitz. And one of the things that can burn you with the blitz is a little dump off to McCaffrey. That can go 60 real quick with slow linebackers like Blake Martinez.
Yeah, and that was a big reason why they lost that Chargers game. I mean, obviously the offense and Rodgers, they didn't play as good as they would have liked. But again, Bosa and Ingram got to them, and that was part of it. But you got to be able to play better defense than that.
Of course.
And we'll go to Detroit plus 2.5 at Chicago.
Geff, I like Detroit on the road. Geff, I predicted 7 wins for Chicago going into this year. Maybe I was a bit too generous.
Yeah, this offense for Chicago has gotten to dangerous levels now. And
dangerous, Geff. We've been saying it's bottom 3 in the league. When we have like 6, 7, 8 terrible teams in this league, it's a bottom 3 offense in the league. I feel like we've finally been vindicated.
Yeah, I mean, when they played Philly, I was thinking, all right, maybe this is the week they get a little something. I'm not even asking for a lot. I'm just seeing, like, can they move the ball a little bit? Can they get some plays when the game is actually on the line, not in garbage time? They haven't been able to do that.
When does Visor Man finally put in Chase Daniel? Like, is there even any talk of it this week?
No, there hasn't been, and the problem is now it's too late.
It is too late, but you gotta play for that locker room. You gotta set a tempo for the locker room, and you can't just quit on a season because Ryan Pace bumbled a Mitch Trubisky draft pick. We said 1.5 2 years ago, you cut bait.
Yeah,
we knew before he even played an NFL game, this dude couldn't play.
I don't understand why they feel so connected to Trubisky. You know, they made the rules of the draft better so you don't have to get tied to these first-round draft picks.
When you trade guys for him, when you could have just stayed back and got Pat Mahomes, I mean, you make your own rules, I guess. Yeah, subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos. We're finally monetized.
Yes, and with that, and Detroit's not even going to, I don't think they're even going to have to do much in that game to win it either.
Well, because the defense is demoralized.
Yeah, on top of it all. And then I don't see Chicago being able to score much. Obviously they haven't been able to do that.
No, and Detroit's still going to play good, Gift. They're still going to fight. Okay, I don't like what Matt Patricia brings to the field of play. We all know that. I don't want to go down that argument again because it gets boring. I'm sure Detroit fans are sick of hearing it. But they're at least playing above average football every week. And that's enough to beat the 3rd worst offense in the league. I don't care how good people think the defense is. And honestly, losing Amos at safety has been huge.
Oh, it has been a huge loss. And it's just sad, too, that I'm thinking in my head, I think Detroit could get this win if they only score 17 points. That's how bad it's gotten for this offense.
Come on, man. I mean, the way it's looked.
And with that, we'll go to Miami plus 10.5 at the Colts. We got to wait to see what's going to happen with Brissett. They did the MRI. He can play this week.
I'm going Miami. Win. No, I'm joking. Miami covers, though. I'm pretty sure about it.
Yeah.
Because I think it even stays up to 10 points if Hoyer starts. Because Hoyer at least showed a little bit of vigor and life when he came in the game. Even looked good at times. But I'm going Miami to cover, Indianapolis to win. Miami's going to have some mojo. And one thing about Fitzpatrick, when he gets into a rhythm, he will make tough throws in tight areas. He will throw interceptions, but we saw that last week against the Jets. It's enough to keep it close. And Indianapolis has looked really good, but really, when have they blown out a team? Someone better memo me on that.
Yeah, that's true. And, if Brissett is healthy and then T.Y. Hilton's fully healthy, it's going to be tough to go Miami, and I would probably stay away from it. But if you get Hoyer starting with a banged-up T.Y. Hilton, you might want to think about going Miami. I think
T.Y. Hilton's the most important factor.
I agree. And with that, we'll go to the Rams -4 at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Giff, and we liked the Colts last week. Don't get me wrong, against Pittsburgh. But we did preface everything with Mike Tomlin finally having a defense he can win games with solely. That's what makes me nervous about this game. But Rams winning cover, I'm really sure about it. I shouldn't be sure about it. Because remember when I was really sure about the Rams going to the Falcons as a money pick, then I reversed course and I was like, I don't know, man. Giff, I got to go with it. It's a money pick to me. I don't know if I'll be putting money pick on it because I do fear Tomlin in that defense. But this Rams team, Giff, they got to seize the opportunity. It's time for them to kick it into high voltage.
This is a tough one because of what you just said. High voltage, are they there yet? Pretty sure they're going to get there with Gurley and company, and that offense is going to take off. I don't know if they're there. They're at that point. That's why I got to go Pittsburgh to cover, Rams to win. Pittsburgh at home, that defense, I think that they give Goff some issues. But if this is the week that the run game opens up and then the playbook opens up for McVay, then that's going to change very quickly. And with that, we'll go to Minnesota +3 at Dallas.
Giff, I got Minnesota to win in the cover. Listen, that Minnesota loss against Kansas City last week was not pretty, but it wasn't the most concerning loss I've ever seen. And then you got to look at this Dallas team, and Giff, I watched that game against the Giants last night. Like, I know they pulled away, but were you impressed? No. And then one thing, the way to attack the Vikings is sadly in the pass game, not through the run game. Because I love Minnesota's run defense this year. The pass game's the problem. I think Minnesota stops the run. Kirk Cousins does enough. And Dallas's pass rush hasn't been all that impressive this year. Vikings do enough. I see this being like a 2013 win for the Minnesota Vikings, even though they're not comfortable on the road.
The more I'm looking at this game, the more I feel extremely good about this on both ends. Minnesota wins and covers this game, and right now the point spread for the over-under is actually high at 47. Dude, I don't
think that in, because I think it's going under too.
Yeah, I don't think Dak's going to be able to do much in this game. I mean, a couple weeks go by, people forget how bad he really is. I think we got to remember that this Minnesota defense can stop Zeke, and beyond Amari Cooper, they're not going to air it out that much.
Well, you can't play the Giants every week, If eventually you got to start playing some big boys.
And the Vikings, they did struggle against Kansas City a little bit, but you got to remember that's Andy Reid, an expert play caller with multiple weapons. Dallas doesn't have anywhere near as many weapons as Kansas City.
Because they'll stop Zeke. And listen, Dak's going to have some alleys to throw, but he's going to need to have a great game. And I don't even know if I don't think he has a better game than Kirk Cousins. And I think Dalvin Cook gets more done than Zeke. And that's why I think the Vikings win, especially we're seeing -3 for Dallas. I like that.
Yeah, I love this. And, you're not going to be getting Witten open in the flat for 25, 30 yards. This isn't the Giants' defense. So I think people need to, remember that about Dallas. I really like that game with Minnesota. And with that, we'll finish it up with Seattle +6 at San Fran.
I haven't liked Seattle all year, and we know they've had some impressive wins. I'm tentatively going Seattle cover, San Fran wins.
I think this is going
tentatively.
I think this is going to be an exciting game. I have San Fran to win and cover. I also think this goes over. I think Russell has a big game. And I think San Fran, they're offensively, I think they found their way. And we've seen Seattle and that defense have a lot of issues.
I don't know if they can stop the run.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more worried about than the lack of pass rush.
If Tampa Bay is going to do that to you, I mean,
That's concerning.
Shanahan and company should be able to put up a lot of points. So in this game, I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but give me San Fran to win and to cover, but give me that over too.
Subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos. The Lawson and Gift Podcast.